אני לפניך מלך חי וקיים תודה. אני לפניך מלך חי וקיים. שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך. As I start my day, these words I pray. Thank you for the soul in me. I sing to you, Modani.
We continue 192 Matovu Ohalecha. This has been a wonderful Zoom tent. We hope that you join us in our next tent on campus, starting next Shabbos, 192.
Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. Vani berov chashecha, avo beitecha, Eshtacha ve'echa kochecha be'yiratecha. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha, u'mekom mishkan kvodecha, mishkan kvodecha. V'ani eshtacharet Necha Evrecha lifnei Adonai Osi. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael. Matovu, Matovu, Ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael.
196, a deep breath in the Shema of Ukah, deep breath, connecting our soul, our breath, and gratitude with God who gave it.
Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. You created me, you shaped me, you breathed me into life. You created me, you shaped me, you breathed me into life. Elohai, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi. Elohai, Neshama, שנתת בי, טהור היא, טהור היא, טהור היא.
Let's turn the page 198.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lasech v'bina v'havchin ben yom uvein laila, who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim, who opens the eyes of the blind.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim, who frees the captive.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim, who lifts up the fallen.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim, who stretches the earth over the waters.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver, who strengthens our steps.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim, who clothes the naked.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten laya'ef koach, who gives strength to the weary.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hama'avir sheina me'enai, u'numa me'afapai, remove sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shasani b'tzelem Elohim, who made me in the image of God.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shasani bat chorin, who has made me free.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shasani Yisrael, who has made me a Jew.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael bigvura, who girds Israel with strength.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Ote Yisrael betifara, who crowns Israel with splendor.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. O Adonai our God, let the words of Torah be sweet in our mouths and the mouths of your people Israel, so that we, our descendants, and the descendants of all your people Israel may know you. By studying your Torah for its own sake, blessed are you, Adonai, who teaches Torah to your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, umelamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. We turn to page 212.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu, Baruch oseh v'reshit, Baruch omer ve'oseh, Baruch gozer umkayim, Baruch merachem al haaretz, Baruch merachem al habriot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov lireav, Baruch chai la'ad, v'kayam la'netzach, Baruch bodeh u'matzil, Baruch shemo.
Baruch atah Adonai melech mehulal batishbachot. Let's continue again. Ashrei is on 215.
Ashrei yoshvei ve'techa, odi hallelujah selah.
Ashreyam shekachalo, Ashreyam shadonai Elohav.
Tehillah leDavid, Aramimcha Elohai HaMelech, V'avarcha Shimcha le'olam va'ed.
בכל יום מברכך, וללה שמך לעולם ועד.
Gadol Adonai umhulal me'od, ve'ligdulato ein cheker.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך, גבורותיך יגידו.
Hadar kivot hodecha, v'divrei niflotecha asicha.
וזוז נרותיך יאמרו, גדולתך אספרנה.
Zecher av tuvcha yabi'u, v'tzidkatcha yiraninu.
חנון ורחום אדוני, ערך אפיים גדול חסד.
Tov Adonai lakol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
Kevod malchutecha yomeru, ugvuratecha yedaberu.
להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו, וכבוד האדם מלכותו.
Malchutecha malchut ka'olamim, umemshaltecha bechol dor v'dor.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
Einecho elecha yesaberu, v'ata noten lahem et ochlam b'ito.
פותח את ידיך, ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
Tzadik Adonai bechol derachav, v'chasid bechol ma'asav.
קרוב אדוני לכל קוראיו, לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
Retzon re'av ya'aseh, ve'et shavatam yishma v'yoshim.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת רשעים ישמיד.
Tehilat Adonai yedaber pi, v'varech kol basar shem kodsho, le'olam va'ed.
ואנחנו נברך ים מעתה ועד עולם. הללויה. 218.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Bekocho. Hallelujah, Bekiyahuzo. Hallelujah, Bigurota. Hallelujah, Kerokula. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Beteka Shofar. Hallelujah, Beneve Vechino. Hallelujah, Betofu Machor. Hallelujah, Beninim V'ugad. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, Betzelzaleh, Shama. Hallelujah, Betzelzaleh, Trua. Kohan Shama, Tehallel. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
The very next page, 219.
Nishmat kol chai שמך אדוני Eloheinu Yalanai lai 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 Yalanai lai 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 Yalanai lai 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 Yalanai lai 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 Yalanai lai 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 Yalanai lai 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 Yalanai lai 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 Yai la 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 Yitgadal ve'yitgadal shemei Rabba Be'alma divrachirute V'yamlich malchute Bechayechon uvyomechon Uvchayetecho Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman kariv Ve'imeru Amen Yeheshme Rabba mevarach Le'alam ulal me'amaya Yitbarach ve'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yit'ale v'yit'halal Shemei dekudesha barichu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran ba'alma ve'imeru Amen. Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Yai la 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 Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or u'varei choshech oseh shalom u'varei hakol Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim uvtuvo v'chadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai kulam b'chochma asita mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha Tiparach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha ve'al me'orei or sha'asita yifa'arucha selah Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir v'nizkechu lanu mehira le'oro Baruch atah Adonai yotzer ha'me'orot
Ahava Rabbah Ahava Rabbah Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu Ahava Rabbah Ahava Rabbah Ahava Rabbah Ahavtanu Ahavtanu אהבתנו, Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom alevavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha uflechtecha v'aderech ufshochbecha ufkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot beinenecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru V'asitem et kol mitzvotai b'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem. Emet.
Page 239. The eternal truth is that you alone are our God, and there is none else. May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore. You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart. The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you are strangers in the land of Egypt. Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor? Asks God. We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy. Praise to God Most High. Blessed is God and deserving of blessing.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nata b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nata b'kodesh. Norot tehilot, osei fa'eleh. Norot tehilot, osei fa'eleh. Adonai, yimloch le'olam va'ed. Shira chadasha shivchu ge'ulim, l'shimcha tzvot hayam, yachad kulam hodu, ve'himlichu ve'hamu. Adonai, yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nata b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nata b'kodesh. Tzur Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Uvdechinu mecha, Yehuda ve'Yisrael. Go Aleinu, Adonai Tzvaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch Atah Adonai, Gaal Yisrael. Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Uvi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Ahavot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula, Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo B'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeha kol atarav lehoshia. Morid hatal, Mechalkel chaim bechesed. Mechayeha kol berachamim rabim. Zomech noflim ve'rofei cholim. Umatir asurim. Umekayim emunato lishenei avar micha mocha ba'al gevurot umido melech memit umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol. Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, Keshem shemakdishim oto b'shmei marom, Kakatuv al yad neviecha, Ve'kara ze'el ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tsevaot, Meloch ol haaretz kevodo. Adir, Adirenu Adonai, Adonenu Ma'adir, Shimcha b'chol haaretz. Baruch kevod Adonai, Mimkomo. Echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu vehu Yashmienu, Berachamav le'enei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Imloch Adonai le'olam, Elohayich Tzion, Ledor vador, Hallelujah. Ledor vador, Nagid godlecha, O netzach netzachim kedushatcha nagdish, V'shivchacha Eloheinu mipinu lo yamush, Leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
This is our time to continue silently. You can follow along in the Siddur, the one that we shared, where we shared the link. We'll come together again for Oseh Shalom. You can follow along in the Siddur, or just take some time for your own personal and private prayer.
עושה שלום במרומיו, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה, הוא יעשה, הוא יעשה שלום, הוא יעשה, הוא יעשה, הוא יעשה שלום, הוא יעשה, הוא יעשה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down.
Our ultimate prayer for peace, wholeness, gentleness in our world and in our lives. Let's move to some words of Torah. 362 in the Siddur. We move to Seder Kriyato Torah, the reading of Torah 362.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut, kol olamim, u'memshaltecha, bechol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch, leolam va'ed. Adonai oz, le'amo yitain, Adonai yevarech, et amo v'shalom. Avha rachamim, etiva virtzonecha, et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki vecha levad batachnu, melech el ram venisa, Adon olamim.
Havu godel le'Eloheinu tenu chavod la Torah. Let us declare the greatness of our God and give honor to the Torah.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about the Torah. I'm going to put some links into our chat if you would like to follow along. For here they are. The Torah portion is Bahalotecha. If you have your own Chumash, if you have your own Torah commentary, we're in the book of Numbers. Our friends are going to start chanting at chapter 9, verse 15. If you want to look at the Sefaria text for in order to follow along with the Hebrew, you feel free to do so. The entire Torah portion is translated there. If you wanted to link to the one we use in the sanctuary that we might be seeing soon, actually, the Plout Torah commentary, that's the second link that I put there from reformedjudaism.org. And there's a couple of things, thank you, Neil. There's a couple of things that I wanted to share with you about this. And it kind of piggybacks on what we were seeing from Torah study. And some of us were at Torah study this morning, another kind of robust conversation. In chapter 9, where the place that we're starting, we see again this image of this fire cloud. There's fire encapsulated by cloud. And when we are told that when the tabernacle is going and the ark is going to be moving forward, when it's time to move, we're all going to be following this fire cloud, which of course is God's presence. And when the fire cloud settles again, then we set everything up, and the tabernacle will be put back together. The Mishkan will be put back together. And again, we know that God is in our midst. And I found that, and I've shared it before, how these folks who were just liberated, were just freed from Egyptian slavery, figuring out how to move forward, they needed to have God's presence close. And I think we need to have God's presence close. And I don't think that God is ever really far from us. We're kind of, I think, trained to think that God is super, super far, super, super distant. Even, in the Haftarah, there's a reference about God's holy habitation, which is imagined by our ancients to be up above, up even above the heavens. But these folks were recently escaping, and they were on this incredible journey, and it must have been really scary for them. And we had a long conversation in Torah study about the next section is this building of the trumpets and how they need to take some ownership in their own freedom. These ancient Israelites needed to learn how to take the silver, hammer it out, make their own trumpets, because God wasn't always going to carry them. And I think there's a lot of parenting lessons in this. We can't do everything for everyone. How often is it that I see someone who kind of needs saving, but I can't do that for them if they aren't willing to extend a hand, to help to pull themselves out of a pit. There is a shared energy that we need to do. And this is a lesson, I think, there is a lesson here about how we need to be God's partner, not just have God do everything for us. But if we go a little bit further, there's something interesting that happens, and it's going to be in chapter 10. If you have your own book, I'm going to show you an image on the screen, but if you wanted to see what it was yourselves, the image in chapter 10, it's verses 35 and 36. And here's an image that I want to show you. Let me pull it up for you. Here it is. I'll make it a little bit bigger, I hope. Hopefully you can see that we are in the middle of this text, and you have two inverted nuns. The letter nun is inverted. And in this, where it says Vayiven Soa, the text basically says about it came to pass, the ark travels. Moses says, "Rise, God, let your enemies scatter, and let those who hate you flee from before you." I'll say it again in English. It came to pass, the ark traveled. Moses said, "Rise, God, let your enemies scatter. Let your kuma, Adonai, let your enemies scatter, and let those who hate you flee from before you." So as these ancient Israelites are journeying, there Moses on everybody's behalf is asking, please, get out of our way. Let's not have hurt that is going to challenge us. And then when the ark would come to rest, Moses would say, "Return, God, to the myriad thousands of Israel." And I think we need God to be a leader, a driver, a guide, a teacher, and just a simple presence. There was a podcast that my wife and I were talking about in terms of relationships. And sometimes we need somebody to help us, to help us learn, figure things out, whatever it might be. Sometimes I need to ask my wife or my friends, what do you need from me? Do you need me to help you fix something? Or do you need me just to listen? Wouldn't it be great? Patricia likes that. Wouldn't it be great if the people that we need just to listen to us would stop actually providing advice and they can just be present? I'm not always asking for advice. Sometimes I just want to share or talk. And other times I need you to help me solve a problem. So are we solving a problem or do I need you to be there? And I think God is in the same space. I think when it is time to move forward and us to follow, and God is going to disperse those challenges, those enemies, the others in front of us, and sometimes we just want God to return to our home base and just be there with us. I look at this episode of Torah and think, gosh, this is so much enmeshed with our lives today. We need to step out. We need to reintegrate with our world, with our community, with our synagogue, with our friends, with our family. How many people do we know that are having reunions of sort after being separated for so long? And the reason why I'm showing the screen to you, this little tiny itty bitty taste of Torah, is because of those nuns. The rabbis are saying this is its own book. There aren't actually 5 books of Moses. This little 85 letters is its own book. They are separating it somehow. This is the minimal number of consecutive letters that our rabbis say can actually be a bit of Torah. And it creates all of these questions for us. If this is Torah, just this, what is it trying to teach us? Do we need to be experts in all of it, or can we just have 85 letters at a time? Is there something else about looking at how God goes forward for us, and we follow? But it's not just this commander image. We have other images too. What are those inverted nuns trying to say about this passage? What do you think? Good, what else? This isn't the rhetorical part of our drush today. I'm curious, do you have a thought? Anybody want to share something? Feel free. It's a small group, just us. You can just unmute yourselves if you'd like.
This is the infinite and the intimate of God. It's God as everything and God is like so close inside us, I think.
I love that. I love that. And nice to have you here with us, Noah. I think you said it. What were the first things? It was the infinite and the intimate. That's beautiful. And how do you see both?
Well, I see the infinite as the universe and God's presence as expressed like throughout the entire, what makes us so small. Like we are so small compared to the infinity of the universe and God's presence. But on the other hand, we are, because God's presence is in us and because we can hold the universe in our consciousness, that gives us some infinity by the closeness of God and by the intimacy.
Love it. That's beautiful. Toda. Thank you. Thank you. Neil, did you want to share? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been thinking more on the initial verses, and in my head, I've just connected it to what Noah was saying. The verse in Hebrew, the Israelites in Machaneh, they're in transition in camps. There is no permanence to their position. As there's no permanence to our lives, as we transition from pandemic, non-pandemic, all sorts of stuff. We're constantly in transition. However, the cloud, al yishkan, okay, asher yishkan sham hanan. The cloud creates a community, a neighborhood. So regardless of where we are individually as a community, we have the connecting to Noah, what Noah said, the infinite and the intimate. We are infinitely, constantly in transition, in change, and struggling with that. And we have the comfort of the intimacy of the community. And community, in my opinion, is intimacy. So I didn't think of that connection until the way Noah presented it. But because earlier in the Torah study and in the beginning of our session now, I was thinking about those verses about the transition and the community.
Love it. Beautiful. Yishkoach. Wonderful. Thank you. Sarah Jane.
Yeah, I love what Noah said, and I love how Neil expanded on it. What I see, and I didn't have anything to see until Noah spoke, so thank you, Noah. The first verse is, or the first half of the verse is God leading us, being around us, protecting us from our enemies. God is enveloping and is much bigger than any of us can be. And we need God to be that giant force to keep us safe and moving. And in 36, it's okay. And now it all not shrinks, but it all sort of compresses so that we each have our relationship with God. So God is bigger than us, and God is right here. My God, I've got my personal relationship with God, and so do you, and so do you, and so do you. And it's really cool.
Amen, friends. I dig this. I think you are right on. Did I just say dig this? I did, you know.
You said right on. You said
okay. I feel like I want to watch Good Times tonight. You know, the thing that I love when we gather for any of our classes is trying to see ourselves in this text, to try and make the connections and build these bridges. Doesn't have to always be separate in the academic ancients. There's something here that can touch us and move us and inspire us, because going out into the world these days sometimes doesn't feel so safe, not just about the pandemic. And here we are looking at a separate book within the book of asking God to kind of clear the way for us, but we still have to go forward. We know that there's still going to be challenges, and God might be leading the way. I don't think we're going to see God clearing the way. And yet we're going to go forward anyway. But the return is going to be that renewing peace. And I think that's really compelling for us where we can be today. Okay, Holly?
And the beginning, half of what's inside those nuns is chanted sometimes. And so obviously that's what I'm going to say about it. But I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it in the prayer book, but obviously when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's what I chant sometimes. So.
Yes. You mean like you mean part of the liturgy being chanted? Yeah. So in a traditional, right. In a traditional prayer book, it's the beginning of a Torah service.
And we do it, I think, Well, we used to at the high holidays.
Used to at the high holidays.
Yeah.
There's more traditional circles are going to have this section be chanted as you take the Torah out, and so it's experiential education. We are redoing what they did when the ark was in motion, and when the Torah is doing that hakafah, when we are carrying it for the procession in a traditional community, you would say these words. Yeah, lovely, fantastic. Sarah Jane, are you returning to say something?
I'm here. I'm just helping Bill. What I wanted
Okay.
to say.
Hi, Bill.
Hi. I was going to point out, as Holly did, that verse 35, not 36, just 35, is traditionally, Vayibin Soha Haron Vayomer Moshe Kuma, I don't know, etc. And it's the start of the Torah service. And I don't know why it's not in ours, but I'd love to bring it back, because it really is so, I like the second part too, and I don't know how that fits in, but it would be really nice to bring that back into our Torah service. So just saying.
So noted. Well, then, with all of that said, here's something that can inspire us as we move forward. When we re-enter, as we are comfortable, slowly and surely, how we can play our part and be God's partner, and not necessarily expect God to clear the way, but maybe we have to do some of the clearing ourselves. If we are really the partner, if really we are the ones really walking in God's ways, we know that God isn't absent, but a little bit more hidden than the Israelites experience, then we have to play our part. So strength to all of you as we do journey forward. So let's go to the text.
And can I say, don't call me Shirley? Sorry.
Oh.
I know, sorry.
Oh.
Okay, now we can move forward.
Is that from Airplane?
I think so.
Neil would know. He's saying yes.
You kept saying surely. So I'm
Surely.
sorry, I just had to say it.
Okay, here's to 1970s silly movies, comedies. Okay, I'm going to, the links to our text are in the chat. You should be able to find them if you're following along. We're going to be starting at Numbers chapter 9, verse 15. I'm going to pull it up myself so that I can follow along. Yes, 9:15. Like always, I'll be sharing my screen so we can all follow along in case you don't have your own books. And we can, even though we're muted, we can say the bracha together if you want to see the blessing. 368. Holly can lead it for us. And we're going to start together. And then for the first part, Bill will chant, and then Holly will chant, and then Sarah Jane, one after the other. And then we'll do the concluding blessing. And that's still in the prayer book on 368. Okay, so let's begin. Go ahead, Holly.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'nahatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Uvayom hakim et hamishkan, kisahanan et hamishkan, le'ohel haidut, uva'erev yeh al hamishkan, kema'e eshad boker, כן יהיה תמיד, הענן יחסנו, ומאש לילה, ולפי העלות הענן מעל האוהל, ואחרי כן ייסעו בני ישראל, ובמקום אשר ישכון שם הענן, שם יחנו בני ישראל.
על פי אדוני ייסעו בני ישראל, ועל פי אדוני יחנו כל ימי אשר ישכון הענן, על המשכן יחנו, ובהאריך הענן על המשכן ימים רבים. ושמרו בני ישראל את משמרת אדוני ולא ייסעו. ויש אשר יהיה הענן ימים מספר על המשכן, על פי אדוני יחנו ועל פי אדוני ייסעו.
ויש אשר יהיה ענן מערב עד בוקר, ונעלה הענן בבוקר, ונסעו יומם ולילה, ונעלה הענן ונסעו יומיים, חודש, ימים, בהאריך הענן על המשכן לשכון עליו, יחנו בני ישראל ולא ייסעו, ובהעלותו ייסעו. על פי אדוני יחנו, ועל פי אדוני ייסעו. את משמרת אדוני שמעו, על פי אדוני ביד משה.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen. Yasher Koach, friends. So grateful. Let's continue with our prayer for healing of body and a healing of soul. If you are thinking of someone and like to share their name in the chat, we can join you in this prayer for healing and wholeness. Mishaberach Avotinu v'Imotinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarar Rivka Rachel Leah Hu Yivarech et HaCholim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem Lahachalimam L'Rapotam L'Hachzitam V'Shlach Lahim Mehera Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, Hashata Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv Nomar. Amen. May the one who blessed our mothers and fathers who came before us, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all of those who are ill and facing challenges of their own. May the Kadosh Baruch Hu be filled with compassion, for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and soul. Let us all say Amen. We move to the Haftarah, the reading from Zechariah. If you want to follow the blessings in the Siddur, it's on page 372. Holly's going to be chanting from Zechariah chapter 4, verse 1. One key connection between the text is going to be about light and the menorah and the tabernacle, and certainly a familiar piece at the very end of Zechariah. But we are starting at chapter 4, verse 1.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher Bachar Bin V'im Tovim V'ratza V'divrehem Hanemarim Be'emet Baruch Atah Adonai Habocher B'Torah Uv'Moshe Avto V'Yisrael Amo Uv'Invi'eh Ha'emet V'Tzedek Vayashav Hamalach Hadover Bi Vayireini Keish Asher Yeor Mishnato Vayomer Elai Mata Roeh Vaomar Ra'iti Vehine Minorat Zahav Kula Vegula Al Rosha Veshiva Neroteha Aleha Shiva Veshiva Mutzakot Lanerot Asher Al Rosha Ushnayim Zeitim Aleha Echad Mimin Hagula Ve'echad Al Smola Va'an Va'omar El Malach Hadover Bi Lemor Ma'ele Adoni Vayan Hamalach Hadover Bi Vayomer Elai Halo Yadata Mahima Ela Baomar Lo Adoni Vayan Vayomer Elai Lemor Zed Devar Adonai El Zerubbabel Lemor Lo V'chayil V'lo V'choach Ki Imbruchi Amar Adonai Tzevaot Miata Har Hagadol Lifnei Zerubbabel Lemishor V'hotzi et ha'even harosha Tishuot Chen La Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Tzur kol haolamim Tzadik b'chol hadorot Ha'el ha'ne'eman Ha'omer v'oseh Ha'medaber u'mkayem Shekol devarav Emet v'tzedek Al ha'torah V'al ha'avodah V'al ha'nevi'im V'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha v'limnucha Lechavod Ultifaret Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu motim lach Umvarchim otach Yitbarach shimcha Befi chochai tamid Leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Yesher koach. So hopefully you're able to see, I highlighted the little spot where it mentions, not by might, not by power, but by ruach, but by that spirit alone, that's going to bring peace. Something well known, a line well known to many. Let's move toward the next part, and we conclude this parenthesis of our Torah service, 376 at the bottom of the page. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. We say, Amen. And for the state of Israel, Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim Yishlayu Hovayich. Avinu Shebashamayim Tzur Yisrael V'Goalo Berechev Medinat Yisrael Reshit Tzmichat Gulatenu. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Again we say, Amen. 374. Ki lekach tov natati lachem torati al ta'azuvu.
Etz chaim hi lama chazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu, Kekedem.
Aleinu Leshabeach, 586.
Aleinu Leshabeach Ladon HaKol, Latet Gedula Liotzer Bereshit, Shelo asanu kugugei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, Shelo samchelkenu kahem, vegoralenu kechol hamonam, Ba'anachnu koreim, umishtachavim umodim, Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim ve'Yosei Haaretz, Umoshav Yikaro b'Shamayim mimal, Shechinatu zo u'Shechinatu zo begovei meromim. Hu Eloheinu ein od, Emet Malkeinu efes ulato, Kakatuv betorato, ve'data hayom, Ve'adata hayom, v'hashevota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim imah, ve'oharetz, mitachat ein od, ve'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol ha'aretz, Bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Zichronam levracha, may their memories be for a blessing as we consider Memorial Day This weekend reading that I shared last night, I'd like to share again with you for today. Remember our people who suffered and died so that we could be free and secure. May their memory be more than a distant shadow. For their dreams left unfulfilled and lives taken too soon, we remember. Remember our brothers and sisters whose sacrifice kept the dream of democracy and justice alive. May their courage be our inspiration and strength. For life cut short and vision unrealized, we remember. Remember the fallen of our armed services, the victims of terror and tragedy. May the darkness of their loss not obscure the light of peace. They were in love with our land and in love with life. For the agony, the tears, the parents, the children who were, and for the children yet to be, we remember them. And now our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, those of every race and of every nation whose lives have been a blessing to all humanity. We remember them. If you'd like to put into the chat someone whom you are remembering and who they were to you, we invite you to do so. And we think of those now in the period of Shloshim, those first 30 days. We remember Miriam Eckstein-Burrow, the sister of Larry Eckstein. There'll be a minyan to support Larry tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. We remember Lon McClanahan, the father of Patty Josephs. Again, minyan will be tomorrow evening at 7:30. And we also remember a beloved founder of our community, Nanette Mannheimer, a witness to Kristallnacht, who came to this country when she was 10 years old. And we remember Larry Siegel, the father of Jane Stein. Those yard sites that we recall for this week that has passed: Frances Silver, Betty Sater Fishman, Jean Ellen Cohen, Joan Powell, Mildred Lieberman, Simon Robbins, Leo Graham, Leonard Bell, Lillian Glassman, John Hess, Erwin Mattis, Jack Weitzman, Roy Shapiro, Pearl Wexler, Herman Warman, Fanny Potter, Brian Ween, Arthur Bronstein, Ann Miller Richtel, Milton Portman, Sally Walter, Lester Morse, Betty Shad, Florence Levy, Abraham Burkhoff, Vivian Hagel, Angela Brill Thaler, Mary Aberly Levin, Suzanne Batansky. We remember them, and may their memories continue to be a blessing to those whom they loved and those who came after. Kaddish is on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yalma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'meru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam olmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'reichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'meru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'meru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, comfort to the bereaved here and everywhere. Let's say Amen. So again, to share with you, our friends, next week, we are going to be leaving Zoom. We will still be streaming, but it will be on YouTube. All of the information will shortly be on our website. It will be in our emails. For those who want to come in person, we should have plenty of room. We might not all fit underneath the tent is what we are expecting. We are planning to have seats that will be sitting together, as well as pods for those who are unvaccinated or not quite ready yet. So if you're going to feel like you're going to be in the sun a little bit, dress appropriately. But in order to join us for Friday or Saturday, you will need to register. We're going to still be tracking and doing a little questionnaire for a screening. We want to remind people that if they aren't feeling well, they should check in on YouTube. But all of this information will be coming out during the week so that you can register and join us safely. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, onward, right? God in the lead. I got it. I'm on it. Holly, let's have our closing prayer.
Well, it's a bit of a narrow bridge, so page 643, Gesher Tzar Ma'od, we have to move forward and conquer that fear. Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Gesher Tzar Me'od. V'ha'ikar, v'ha'ikar, lo lefachet, lo lefachet kol, v'ha'ikar, v'ha'ikar, lo lefachet kol. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher Tzar Me'od, Gesher Tzar Me'od.
Well, friends, a good Shabbos to you. We're grateful that everybody was here with us and continued throughout this crazy year and a half. And again, while we won't be on Zoom, we still will be streaming. If you're not quite ready to join us, you'll be able to stream on YouTube. And we're glad that you're here and spent some time. We welcome you, our guest, and hope you had a nice Shabbos morning with us. And everybody, just take good care of yourselves. Strength to you. Gentle and lovely Shabbat.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yes.
Awesome. Take good care, everyone. Be well. And good Shabbos. Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.
You walking the dog?
Dogs, plural.
Dogs. Oh, that's right. Forgive me. So sorry.
No problem.
I am
see-
gonna miss the dogs and the cats and the animals. Yeah.
Yeah. Although I'm not gonna, FedEx was dropping something off right before Kaddish. So I was muted during Aleinu. So that's okay.
Exactly. Exactly. There's the positives and the negatives and the changes.
Jack, I'm digging those shades.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
The future's bright. You got to wear those shades.
That's
Yep.
right. That's right. Well, enjoy your day, everyone. Be well.
Cool.
Thanks. Have a nice
Shabbat
walk.
shalom.
Bye.